Welcome you all for this session. I am Murugan, Professor of EC Department, M. Kumarasamy College of Engineering, Karur. This session I am going to handle the angle modulation, in which we are going to discuss about the frequency modulation and phase modulation. Especially I am going to concentrate on the frequency modulation. So before we going to discuss about the frequency modulation, we have to know about the modulation. What do you mean by modulation? Where it is used? So that part have to be discussed. Okay. So first we have to know about the modulation. Modulation mean we have to change or manipulate the signal such a way the signal can be propagated for a long distance. This is the main objective behind the modulation. So while using modulation, we have to use the three parameters. In any signal, that signal must having a three parameters. One is amplitude, then phase, then frequency. If you consider the sinusoidal signal or sine signal, you should having a amplitude, phase and frequency. So while using modulation, so we have to change any of the parameter of this signal. So this signal will be considered as a carrier signal. For example, if you are using a bicycle, if you want to travel for a particular distance with your friends, means the friend has to be accommodated with the carrier which is provided backside the cycle. The same concept will be followed here. So here in modulation we have to use a carrier signal. So the carrier signal will only accommodate the signal to be modulated. Okay. So the carrier signal will be having a three parameters: amplitude, frequency and phase. So these parameter has to be manipulated such that signal can be propagated for a long distance. So in amplitude modulation, the amplitude of the carrier signal has to be changed with respect to the instantaneous value of the modulating signal. Here the modulating signal is nothing but a message signal. So while using this type of modulation, the amplitude only get varied. So the remaining parameter like frequency and phase of the signal will be kept constant. Similarly, while using a frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier signal is get changed with respect to the instantaneous value of the modulating signal or message signal. In the same manner, in phase modulation, the phase of the carrier signal will be get changed with respect to the instantaneous value of the message signal or modulating signal. So based on the application, we may use the phase modulation, amplitude modulation or frequency modulation. So if you want to propagate or transmit the video signal, we can go for the amplitude modulation. So if you want to transmit the audio signal, so we may use the frequency modulation, because the small changes in the video will not affect the received information or received image. So for that we may use the amplitude modulation. In case of frequency modulation, especially used for the audio signal, we have to transmit the audio signal in a perfect way without any loss. Then only you can hear the original information what it is transmitted in the transmitter side. So that's why we go for the amplitude modulation for the video signal and frequency modulation for the audio signal. Okay, this is a main application. In this session I am going to handle only the frequency modulation, that is belong to angle modulation. So now for that we have to consider the signal for the general carrier. So the general carrier signal can be specified as Vc of t is equal to Vc into cos omega c t plus phi c. Okay, so this Vc is describe the amplitude of the signal, and omega c is describe the angular frequency of the signal. That phi c will denote the angle of the carrier signal. Okay, so we can represent the angle of the carrier as omega ct plus phi c. Okay, there are two types of angle modulation. One is a frequency modulation, another one is a phase modulation. In frequency modulation, by varying the frequency, we can get the frequency modulation. In case of phase modulation, by varying the phase signal, we can get the phase modulation. So in frequency modulation, the message signal can be described as a m of t, which controls the frequency fc. Fc means is a carrier frequency. Now we consider the carrier signal Vc of t is equal to Vc cos omega ct. Okay, so we may write the FM signal as Vs of t, FM signal as Vs of t, which is equivalent to Vc cos 2 pi into Fc plus frequency deviation into t. Okay, so here the frequency deviation will depend upon the m of t. Okay, that m of t means a message signal. Here the carrier frequency will change with respect to the instantaneous value of the modulating signal. So we may write the Vc into cos omega t equal to Vc into cos 2 pi Fi t equal to Vc into cos pi I. Okay, here this pi I is the instantaneous angle equal to omega I into t is equal to 2 pi Fi into t. Here the Fi is a instantaneous value of the frequency. Since pi I equal to 2 pi Fi t, then we can write the d pi I by dt as 2 pi Fi with respect to t. While you differentiate the pi I signal with respect to t means we can have 2 pi Fi, or we can write the Fi input frequency as 1 by 2 pi. By rearranging this equation, you can get the Fi is equal to 1 by 2 pi into d pi I divided by dt. Here the frequency is proportional to the rate of change of angle. That rate of change of angle can be defined by d pi I by dt. Okay, suppose if Fc is the unmodulated carrier signal and Fm is the modulating frequency, so we may reduce this Fi as Fi equal to Fc plus del Fc into cos omega mt. So which will be equivalent to 1 by 2 pi into d pi I divided by dt. Here this del Fc is the peak deviation of the carrier signal, peak carrier signal. Okay, hence we can have 1 by 2 pi into d pi I by dt is equal to Fc plus del Fc into cos omega mt. That is d pi I by dt, that is rate of change of that phase angle, can be written as 2 pi into Fc plus 2 pi into del Fc into cos omega mt. So after integration, we can get integral of omega c plus 2 pi till del Fc into cos omega mt into dt. Here that pi I can be defined as omega ct plus 2 pi del Fc into sin omega mt divided by omega m. Okay, here we can rewrite this equation pi I equal to omega c into t plus del Fc divided by Fm into sin omega mt. So by expanding this omega m as 2 pi fm, we can have this equation pi I is equal to omega ct plus del fc divided by fm into sine omega mt. Here in the above equation, the 2 pi and the 2 pi belong to the omega m is cancelled. So finally we have only fm. So that term can be written as del fc divided by fm into sine omega mt. As we are using a fm signal, so we can have a input signal as Bs of t is equal to Bc into cos pi I. Okay. Here the Vs of t can be rewritten again as Vc into cos of, we know the pi I from the above equation, omega ct plus del fc divided by fm into sine omega mt. Here the ratio del fc divided by fm, they can be defined as a modulation index, which is denoted by beta. So we may define the beta, that is modulation index, as peak frequency deviation, that del fc divided by modulating frequency fm. So here the fm modulation approach that possess the nonlinear process. So the principle of superposition does not apply. For the FM signal, the message signal m of t is defined as a band of signal which is very complex. So you have to use the m of t as a single tone modulating signal in the form of m of t is equal to Bm into cos omega mt. Here in this input equation, Vs of t, which will be equivalent to Bc into cos omega ct plus del fc by fm into sine omega mt. Here the del fc divided by fm is defined as a modulation index. Okay, so that may be defined or expressed as a Bessel series or Bessel functions. So we may write this Vs of t as Vc into summation n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Jn of beta into cos omega c plus n into omega m. Here Jn of b is defined as a Bessel functions. Now we have to expand this equation for the few terms. So you can have the V of st as Vc j naught of beta into cos omega ct. The first term Vc j naught of beta will be defined as an amplitude of the signal. Then cos omega ct will be defined as a carrier frequency of the signal. And the second term, in the second term, we can have Vc into j1 of beta into cos omega c plus omega m. That Vc into j1 of beta denotes the amplitude of the signal, and cos omega c plus omega m of t denotes the frequency of the signal. That means carrier frequency will be added with the modulating frequency. Next we can have the third term as Vc into j minus 1 of beta into cos omega c minus omega m into t. That Vc into j minus 1 of beta denotes the amplitude of the signal. That cos of omega c minus omega m into t denotes the fc minus fm signal. In general, we can define this fc plus fm as a sideband signal, okay, upper sideband signal, and fc minus fm is denoted as a lower sideband signal. So this term is expanded till infinite value, minus, because it ranges from the minus infinity to plus infinity range. So we can have a j2 beta, then minus j2 beta. That j2 beta term possesses the second upper sideband. Similarly, j minus 2 of beta term possesses the second lower sideband fc minus 2 fm. So now we can define the fm signal spectrum by this diagram. So we can have a J naught of beta into BC can be defined with central frequency Fc. The first band will be defined with the Fc plus Fm. That amplitude term is defined with the J1 of beta into Vc. Similarly, the sideband will be expanded till infinity. Similarly, the lower sideband will be expanded till minus infinity. This is a frequency spectrum of the FM signal. So here the amplitudes are drawn completely arbitrary. So here we have used the Jn of beta to illustrate this spectrum. So we can have a J naught to J infinity amount of Bessel functions with that carrier frequency. So now we will discuss about the generation of the frequency modulator signal. We can have a frequency demodulator by using two approach: voltage to frequency converter and voltage control oscillator. So voltage to frequency converter or voltage control oscillator, here the output frequencies depends on the input voltage amplitude. Okay, here we have a block diagram that FM modulator, that we have a voltage to frequency converter. The V input will be applied in the input of the V to F converter. We can have a output at the output of this FM modulator. So we can have a constant amplitude signal BC. As we are using a frequency modulation, the amplitude will be constant. So this diagram shows the characteristics of the voltage to frequency converter. So we have to apply the Vn like 0 volt to 1 volt, 2 volt, minus 1 volt, minus 2 volt. So we have to measure the frequency output at the output of the modulator with each Vn. Like if you are applying a 2 volt means we can have a one type of frequency output. If you are applying a minus 2 volt means we have a one type of output. So the block diagram shows the Vi characteristics of the Vf characteristics of the FM modulator signal. Here the Fc denotes the carrier frequency, that is the frequency output when the input is 0. When the input is 0 means we can have a Fc. That Fc is called undeviated or nominal carrier frequency. The central frequency Fc is a nominal carrier frequency or undeviated carrier frequency. So now we have to analyze the gradient of the characteristics del F by del B, which is called frequency conversion factor, which is denoted by alpha per volt. These are voltage to frequency characteristics. Now consider an analog message input as Vm cos omega mt. Okay, when it applied to the voltage to frequency converter, you can have a frequency modulated output. So while applying the analog signal to the frequency modulator, we can have a response, linear response with a gradient which is proposed to the kilohertz per volt. So based on the position of the message signal, we can have a output. The center frequency will be Fc. The upper frequency will be Fc plus Vm, alpha Vm. Similarly, the lower frequency will be Fc minus alpha Vm. Okay, so as the input signal m of t varies from plus Vm to minus Vm, the output frequency will vary from maximum through Fc to minimum frequency. as the input signal vary from the plus Vm to minus Vm, so automatically the output frequency will vary from maximum to minimum frequency through carrier frequency. For the straight line, we know the equation y is equal to c plus mx, where c is value of y when x equal to 0 and m is a gradient. So we may say the output frequency f out is equal to fc plus alpha into Vn, and Vn can be defined as m of t. So we can rewrite this f of t equation as fc plus alpha into m of t. That is, the deviation depends upon the message signal m of t. So now we consider the maximum and minimum input amplitudes, which are plus Vm and minus Vm. So for that, we have to find the maximum frequency and minimum frequency. F maximum is equal to fc plus alpha into Vm, and f minimum is equal to fc minus alpha into Vm, which is illustrated in the previous figure. So the peak to peak deviation is f maximum minus f minimum, but more importantly for Fm, the peak deviation del fc is alpha into Vm, as the modulation index beta is equal to del fc by Fm, which will be equivalent to alpha into Vm by Fm. So now we analyze the summary of the important points of Fm. In Fm, the message signal m of t is assumed to be a signal as a single tone frequency. So we can write this m of t as Vm into cos omega mt. The Fm signal Vs of t, from which the spectrum may obtained as Vs of t is equal to Vc into summation n equal to minus infinity plus infinity Jn of beta into cos omega c plus n omega mt. Jn of beta is a Bessel functions, or we may term as a Bessel coefficients. We can define the modulation index as beta is equal to del fc divided by Fm, which is equal to alpha into Vm divided by Fm. Here the alpha hertz per volt is the volt per frequency modulator. That means voltage to frequency modulator. So the gradient or the frequency conversion factor, we can define this as a gradient or frequency conversion factor, alpha per volt. So we can define the gradient or frequency conversion factor as a alpha per volt. Here the alpha is the measure of the change in output frequency or the change in the input amplitude. Here alpha is the measure of the change in output frequency or a change in the input amplitude. So now we have to revise the peak deviation of the carrier frequency from Fc is equal to del Fc equal to alpha into Vm. I already stated the alpha is a measure of change in output frequency for the change in the input amplitude. Now we had analyzed the Fm signal waveform. For the various input signal by using voltage to frequency converter. This diagram shows the how we have a frequency modulated output with voltage to frequency converter. While applying a digital data sequence DFT, which introduce the output in case FSK, frequency shift key. This is a frequency shift keying response. While applying the digital signal like 1, 0, 1, 1 means we have a frequency modulated signal or frequency shift keying. That means in frequency modulation only the frequency of the signal will be get changed with respect to the amplitude of the message signal or modulating signal. Okay, in the same way, based on the data which is available in the digital form, the frequency of the signal will be get changed. So while using the frequency shift keying approach, we have to allocate the separate frequency for the one signal and the separate frequency for the zero signal. That will be repeated. So in this example, so one having a certain range of frequencies and zero having a different frequency than the one frequency. So we may designate the frequency as F1 frequency and F0 frequency. Okay, so it will be continue. 1 means the same pattern will be continue. Now we have to assume the plus V is equal to ones and minus V is equal to zeros. Okay, we can have a output F output is equal to F1 is equal to Fc plus alpha V for the one signal, and F out is equal to F0, which is equal to Fc minus alpha V for zero signal. Here the output switches from the F1 and F0. This is the FM signal for the sinusoidal signal or for the analog signal. The previous example we have discussed about the digital signal, that means the frequency shift keying approach. Here we have to analyze the analog modulation approach. So while applying analog signal to the frequency modulator, so how the signal will be get changed. Here this is the response shows the input signal M of t, and Vs of t is a frequency modulator signal. Okay, here in frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier signal will be get changed with respect to the amplitude of the message signal or instantaneous value of the message signal. Instantaneous means at that instant what should be the amplitude. In the next instant the amplitude may change. So when the amplitude change means automatically the frequency of the modulator signal will be get changed. This is a response frequency modulator signal. Here the output frequency vary gradually from Fc to Fc plus alpha into Vm through the carrier frequency Fc to Fc minus alpha Vm. So that is illustrated in the first diagram, that modulator signal vary from Fc plus alpha Vm to Fc minus alpha Vm through the carrier frequency. Here the M of t signal will be considered as a band of signal. So it contain amplitude, frequency which may vary. So when the amplitude and frequency get changed in the message signal M of t at the input side, which are translated to frequency changes in the FM output signal. In general, the frequency modulation means the amplitude of the signal, input signal get changed means automatically the modulated signal, frequency of the modulated signal will be get changed, or phase of the modulated signal will be get changed. It's based on the type of modulation. If it is a frequency modulation, frequencies will get changed. If you are using angle modulation, the phase of the signal will be get changed. But the amplitude of the output of the FM signal is will be constant. Here the frequency changes at the input which are translated to the rate of change of frequency at the output. If there is any changes in the input side, if any changes in the frequency at the input side, which is translated to a rate of change of frequency at the output side. So this is illustrated in the figure. Which is illustrated in the figure. So we can have different frequency for the first cycle. For the next cycle, the frequency is different. For third cycle, the frequency will be different. So in general, in analyzing the FM spectrum, we have to use the Bessel coefficient. We already discussed it. So we may define this Bessel function as Vs of t is equal to Vc into summation n equal to minus infinity plus infinity Jn of beta into cos omega c plus n into omega m in t. So it can be determine the Bessel function Jn of b from the tables, Bessel function tables. This is a spectrum of the Bessel coefficients. So we can have a different modulation index, beta is equal to 2.4, beta is equal to 5. We can have a different Bessel function Jn of beta. So based on the modulation index, the Bessel function can be changed. So now we will discuss about some example from the graph. When the beta is 0 means the carrier is unmodulated, and we can have a Bessel function as j naught of 0 is equal to 1, and all other j n of 0 is equal to 0. This response is like that. This response. Similarly, when you choose the beta value as 2.4 from the graph, so it will be equal to 0, and J1 of 2.4 is equal to 0.5, and J2 of 2.4 is equal to 0.45, and J3 of 2.4 is equal to 0.2. So that can be analyzed with the graph. So this diagram shows how the Bessel function will be get changed for different beta value. So now we analyze the significant sidebands of the spectrums. In this example, the message signal of the frequency FM gets modulating a carrier frequency FC in order to produce the frequency modulator signal with the modulation index beta is equal to 1. So for different n value, n equal to 0 to 5, we can have a different Bessel function. For the beta value is 1, Jn of 1 will be equal to 0.7652, 0.444, 0.11, 0.019, 0.0025, 0.002. Similarly, the amplitude will be get changed based on the n value and that Bessel function value. So for n is equal to 0, Jn of 1 is equal to 0.7652. The amplitude will be 0.7652 Bc. Frequency will be Fc. So while choosing the n is equal to 3 means the Bessel function value will be 0.0196. So the amplitude will be 0.0196 into Vc. Okay, we can have the frequency Fc plus 3 FM and Fc minus 3 FM. We have a two sidebands, upper sideband as well as the lower sideband. So this is how we illustrate the sidebands of the spectrums with a different beta value and different n value. So this diagram shows the bandwidth of the significant spectrum 6 FM. So we can have Fc as 0.7682 Vc. For the Fc plus FM, first upper sideband, we can have a amplitude as 0.44 Vc. Similarly, that based on the sideband, the amplitude of the modulator signal will be get changed. Here, in the lower sideband, we can have Fc minus 2 FM. The amplitude will be 0.1144 Vcc. So, from the diagram, we can realize that the bandwidth of the spectrum containing significant components that means 6 FM for the modulation index beta is equal to 1. This is for different modulation index how the bandwidth will be formulated. For example, for beta is equal to 0.1, the number of sidebands will be 2. The bandwidth will be 2 FM. As sideband will be 2 FM. If the number of sidebands 4 means the total bandwidth will be 4 FM. Similarly, if you are having a number of sidebands 16 means the total bandwidth will be 16 FM. So this number of sidebands will be changed based on the modulation index beta, whether it is 0.1, 0.3, 5 like that. So based on that beta value, the bandwidth size will be changed. Similarly, the number of sidebands also get changed. So while determining the FM bandwidth, we have to incorporate the Carson's rules. As the approximation for the bandwidth of the FM signal is given by the 2 into maximum frequency deviation plus highest modulated frequency. So you can define this bandwidth as 2 into del FC plus FM. This is Carson rules. That means while you formulate the FM bandwidth or while you analyze the FM bandwidth, we have to follow this Carson rule as 2 is equal to 2 into del FC plus FM. So next we will discuss about the narrow band and wide band frequency modulation. Narrow band frequency modulation, for the small value of beta, that is beta is less than or equal to 0.3, and there is only the carrier and 2 significant sidebands, and that is the bandwidth is equal to 2 into FM. Suppose if beta is less than 0.3, which is referred as a narrow band FM. Here the bandwidth is same as that of the double sideband amplitude modulation. So next we will discuss about the wideband FM frequency modulation. When the modulation index beta is greater than 0.3, there are more than 2 significant sidebands. As beta increases, the number of sidebands get increases. This is called a wideband frequency modulator signal. So in frequency modulation, we have to know about the very high frequency band. So the very high frequency band is in the range of 30 MHz to 300 MHz, which is mostly used in the radio transmission. In the bandwidth of 88 MHz to 108 MHz. So the radio transmission will be having a following parameters. The maximum frequency input will be 15 kHz for the music, that is FM modulating signal. The deviation will be 75 kHz. So del FC is equal to alpha into Vm. So the modulation index beta will be equal to 5. That is equal to beta is equal to del FC divided by FM. For beta is equal to 5, modulation index beta is equal to 5 means there are 16 side bands, and the signal bandwidth will be defined as a 16 FM is equal to 16 into 15 kHz, which will be equal to 240 kHz. By applying a Carson rules, the bandwidth will be 2 into 75 deviation plus 15, which will be equal to 180 kHz. So now we will revise the FM system. In FM spectrum, it contains a carrier components and an infinite number of sidebands at frequency Fc plus or minus n into FM, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2 is going on up to infinity. So you can define the FM signal as Vc in the summation n is equal to minus infinity plus infinity Jn of beta into cos omega c plus n omega mt. Here we refer the sideband pairs in frequency modulation. So not a upper and lower sidebands. So here the carrier or other components may not be suppressed in FM. Here the relative amplitude of the components in FM, which is depends on the value, the Bessel function Jn of beta. So we may define the beta as alpha into Vm divided by Fm. Thus the components at the carrier frequency depends on M of t, and do all the other components and none may be suppressed. Here there is no suppression of the carrier signal. Here the components are very significant. If Jn of beta is greater than or equal to 0.01. For beta very less than 1, that is beta approximately 0.3 or less, only J naught of beta and J1 of beta are significant. Only a carrier and two sidebands will be available. Here the bandwidth is 2FM, similar to double sideband amplitude modulation in terms of bandwidth, which is called narrowband frequency modulation. So while using the large modulation index beta is equal to del fc by fm, it requires large bandwidth, so which is called wideband frequency modulation. In general, the frequency modulation process is a nonlinear process, so the principle of superposition does not apply. For example, if you are using a speech or music signal, the analysis is very difficult. So here in the calculation they usually assume a single tone frequency which is equal to the maximum input frequency. So M of t is equal to band of 20 kilohertz to 15 kilohertz, 20 hertz to 15 kilohertz. So the modulating signal will be 15 kilohertz will be used. So now we will discuss about the FM demodulation. So the FM demodulator or frequency discriminator is essentially a frequency to voltage converter. See, in the modulator section we have discussed the frequency modulation is a voltage to frequency converter. Here vice versa, we are using a frequency to voltage converter. The frequency to voltage converter may be realized in several ways by using tuned circuits and envelope detectors, phase lock loop, etc. The demodulator also called as a FM discriminator. So now we will discuss about the general concept of FM demodulation, which will produce the V output in proportional to the frequency input F in frequency input. If the input is FM frequency modulator signal, the output is a message signal. That means the analog message signal. If the input is FSK frequency shift keying, the output is a DFT, that is a digital data sequence. So in the FM demodulation, the gradient can be defined as a del V by del F, which is called as a voltage conversion factor. So the gradient will be equivalent to voltage conversion factor, which will be defined k volts per hertz. So now we considering the line equation y is equal to mx plus c. We may say the V output is equal to V output plus k F in from the frequency modulator. Since V output is equal, VO is equal to V output and F in is FC, then we may write the output voltage V output is equal to V 0 plus V output plus k into alpha into Vn. So with V naught represent the DC offset in V out. This DC offset may be removed by the level shifting or AC coupling. Here the frequency voltage converter may be designed with the characteristics. This is a voltage to frequency to voltage converter. So input will be frequency and output will be voltage. So this is how we modulate the signal, how we demodulate the signal. This diagram shows the voltage to frequency modulator, that is FM modulator. Frequency to voltage is a demodulator. So in the modulator, the gradient will be alpha, that is hertz per volt. Here in the demodulator, the gradient is K, hertz per voltage. The alpha can be defined as a frequency conversion factor, and the K is defined as a voltage conversion factor. So we can have a F output at the modulator Fc plus alpha into Vn, which is equal to Fin. Similarly, F output is equal to Fc plus alpha into M of t, because Vin is equivalent to the M of t. While in the demodulator circuit, V output is equal to V naught plus K into alpha Vn. That is V naught plus K into alpha M of t. This is how the demodulation will take place. How the frequency of the modulated signal will be converted into again the message signal or voltage. With the help of tuned circuit, we can convert the frequency of the modulator signal into the voltage. So which use the slope of the tuned circuit in conjunction with the envelope detector. Okay. Here we are applying a FM input signal. The first circuit shows the tuned circuit. At the output we can have a oscillated output that will be applied to the envelope detector. So we can have a demodulated output at the output of the envelope detector. Here the tuned circuit is tuned, so the Fc, the nominal input frequency, is on the slope, which is not on the center of the tuned circuits. As the FM signal deviates about Fc on the tuned circuit slope, here the amplitude of the output varies in proportion to the deviation factor Fc. Thus the FM signal is effectively converted into EM signal. This is then envelope detected by the diode etc. to recover the message signal. When the envelope detector, the diode is used to recover the message signal. Similarly, by using Foster-Seeley discriminator circuits, we can detect the FM modulator signal. This is a Foster-Seeley discriminator circuits. At the input side, the FM signal is applied. We can have a two signal tuned with F1 frequency and tuned to F2 frequency. So we can have a two range of frequency F1 F2 with improved linearity. This is a Foster-Seeley discriminator. Similarly, by using phase lock loops, we can demodulate the frequency modulator signal. Here the PLL is a closed loop system, which may be used for the FM demodulation. Here the input signal is applied to the mixer, which will be combined with the part of the output with the F0. That F0 is obtained from the voltage control oscillator. So the voltage control oscillator, so based on the input voltage, the frequency will be generated. So the generated frequency from the voltage control oscillator is applied to this mixer circuit. So that will be mixed. So at the output of the mixer circuit, the error term will be calculated. So based on the error, the feedback circuit will be feedback again and again. The error will be minimized. So we can have a V output. So this loop comprises of a multiplier, low pass filter, the voltage control oscillator. This is a voltage to frequency converter approach. Voltage to frequency converter, this is a modulator. Frequency to voltage converter is a demodulator circuits. So in the phase lock loop, the inputs frequency is applied to the multiplier circuit and multiplied with the voltage control oscillator frequency output, such that it will produce the error signal Fin plus F naught, and delta is equal to Fn minus F naught. The signal may get added or subtracted. Here the low pass filter only passes Fin minus F naught, low frequency, to give you output, which is proportional to the Fn minus F naught. Suppose if Fn is approximately equal to F naught but not equal, we can have a output V output is equal to Vn. And then alpha Fn minus F naught is a low frequency, that is called a bit frequency signal to the VCO. So this signal Vn causes the VCO output frequency F naught to vary and move towards Fin. When Fn is equal to F naught, when F input is equal to F output, means we can have a constant DC output. So F naught is held constant, that is locked to Fn. As Fn changes, means due to deviation in the FM frequency modulation, so F naught tracks or follows Fin. So it will track the Fin signal. So V output equal to Vn, which will changes to drive the F naught, such that it will track the Fn signal. So we can have a V output which is proportional to the deviation and which contains the message signal MFT. This is the method to demodulate the frequency modulator signal. With this I am going to conclude this session. Thank you. Stop.